We just built the very best guitar we could. It's the one I've always played, the shape. Kind of updated the style of it a little bit.
Dimebag Darrell transformed the landscape of heavy metal guitar through his devastating riffs and groundbreaking approach to the instrument. The iconic Pantera guitarist sat down for a memorable interview where he revealed his 10 favorite guitarists, offering fans a window into the musical influences that shaped his legendary sound. This conversation took place before his untimely death in 2004, making it one of the final opportunities to hear directly from the guitarist about the players who meant the most to him. His selections painted a fascinating picture of musical diversity, spanning far beyond the boundaries of heavy metal to include blues masters and classic rock pioneers who had left their mark on his artistic development. Throughout his career, Dimebag became synonymous with powerful, groove-driven riffing and those signature screaming harmonics that could cut through any mix. His playing style was instantly recognizable, combining raw power with an almost melodic sensibility that set him apart from many of his contemporaries in the metal world. The list of his favorite guitarists revealed something important about his musical philosophy. He understood that great guitar playing came from many different sources and traditions. He didn't limit himself to studying only metal players, instead drawing inspiration from anyone who could teach him something about tone, feel, or musical expression. The guitarists he chose to honor represented different eras and styles, but each one contributed something essential to his understanding of what made guitar playing truly great. Some picks were predictable choices from the metal pantheon, artists whose names would appear on any heavy guitarist's list of influences. However, other selections demonstrated his deep appreciation for the blues tradition and the classic rock era that preceded heavy metal's emergence. This eclectic mix showed that Dimebag approached the guitar as a student of music history, someone who recognized that innovation came from understanding and building upon what had come before. His musical journey involved carefully studying players across multiple genres, absorbing lessons from metal innovators, blues pioneers, and rock legends alike. Each guitarist on his list brought something unique to the table, whether it was a particular technical approach, a distinctive tonal quality, or a philosophical perspective on how to serve the song. Dimebag's selections celebrated both the crushing heaviness that metal demands and the melodic sensibility that makes music memorable and emotionally resonant. From the early architects of blues guitar to the gods of metal who defined entire generations, this countdown illuminated the foundation upon which Dimebag built his legendary career. Every player he mentioned contributed essential elements to his comprehensive understanding of guitar playing. Some taught him how to achieve massive tone and sustain. Others showed him how to construct riffs that would move audiences physically and emotionally. Still others demonstrated the importance of technique in service of memorable melodies. His number one selection perfectly encapsulated everything that Dimebag valued most in guitar playing, revealing the core principles that guided his own approach to the instrument throughout his remarkable career. Zakk Wylde, the Southern fried metal powerhouse. Beginning the countdown at number 10 was Zakk Wylde, who rose to prominence as Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist during the late 1980s. Zakk brought a unique combination of influences to heavy metal, blending southern rock sensibilities with crushing heaviness in a way that inspired countless players who followed. His signature sound featured an enormously heavy tone built on pentatonic scales and blues phrasing, creating solos that were both aggressive and deeply rooted in traditional American music. Dimebag held tremendous respect for Zakk's unwavering commitment to heavy riffs and his ability to infuse metal with authentic blues feeling. Zakk demonstrated that Southern rock influences could enhance heavy metal rather than dilute it, proving that groove and heaviness were natural partners. His work on landmark albums like No Rest for the Wicked showcased his massive, saturated tone and his mastery of pinch harmonic squeals that became part of his signature sound. What set Zakk apart was his understanding that rhythm guitar work was equally important as lead playing when it came to creating powerful music. His rhythm parts laid down crushing grooves that gave his music an undeniable physical impact, making listeners want to move as much as they wanted to marvel at his technical abilities. Dimebag particularly appreciated how naturally Zach combined the emotional expressiveness of blues with the raw aggression that metal demanded. This wasn't a forced fusion, but rather an organic integration that felt authentic and powerful. Zach's later work with his own band, Black Label Society, further proved that groove-based metal could achieve brutal heaviness without sacrificing musical feel or songwriting quality. His importance to the development of modern metal stemmed from his influence in bringing Southern rock elements into the genre's vocabulary, making metal more accessible through familiar blues-based phrasing while maintaining its intensity. The use of pentatonic scales and blues-derived techniques in Zach's playing helped make metal more groove-oriented and physically engaging. Dimebag valued Zach's dedication to constructing heavy riffs over simply displaying technical prowess for its own sake. This ranking honored Zach's significant contribution to the groove metal movement and acknowledged his influence on Dimebag's own approach to riff construction and rhythmic playing. Zach showed that you could be heavy, technical, and deeply grounded in tradition all at the same time. Randy Rhoads, the classical virtuoso who redefined metal. At number 9 stood Randy Rhoads, who revolutionized heavy metal guitar by bringing his classical music training and neoclassical compositional approach to the genre. His groundbreaking work with Ozzy Osbourne demonstrated that brilliant technique could serve memorable, powerful songs rather than overshadowing them. Dimebag deeply admired the way Rhoads combined classical precision and sophistication with the raw intensity that heavy metal required. Rhoads proved definitively that formal music education could elevate metal guitar playing, making it more musically sophisticated without losing its essential character. The solos that Rhoads crafted were compositionally structured with clear melodic development and harmonic sophistication that set them apart from the more improvisational approach common in rock and early metal. He introduced classical scales and arpeggios into the metal vocabulary, giving guitarists new tools for expression and composition. Dimebag appreciated how Rhoads managed to create solos that were simultaneously technically demanding and incredibly memorable, striking a balance that many players struggled to achieve. His approach showed that technical facility could be used to enhance emotional communication rather than replace it.
Randy Rhoads' tragic and untimely death robbed the metal world of one of its most promising and innovative talents. What made Rhoads particularly special in Dimebag's eyes was his dedication to constant improvement and continuous musical growth. Despite his already impressive abilities, Rhoads practiced obsessively and continued studying classical guitar, even while maintaining a demanding touring schedule. This work ethic and vision of continually expanding metal's musical possibilities deeply resonated with Dimebag, who shared a similar commitment to improvement throughout his own career. Dimebag respected Rhoads not just his technical abilities, but his broader vision of making metal more musical and compositionally sophisticated. The ranking honored Rhoads' profound influence on bringing classical elements into heavy metal guitar playing, showing that the genre could embrace complexity and sophistication without losing its power. Rhoads opened doors for future players to explore the intersection of classical music and heavy metal, creating a legacy that extended far beyond his brief career. Eddie Van Halen, the revolutionary who expanded guitar's vocabulary. Eddie Van Halen claimed the 8th position on Dimebag's list, recognized as the player who fundamentally changed rock guitar forever through his revolutionary tapping technique and innovative approaches to sound. The groundbreaking self-titled Van Halen album demonstrated previously unimaginable possibilities on the electric guitar, effectively rewriting the rulebook for what players could achieve. Dimebag recognized Eddie as the guitarist who dramatically expanded the instrument's technical vocabulary, introducing techniques and approaches that every subsequent player had to reckon with in some way. Eddie proved that technical innovation didn't have to come at the expense of great songwriting or memorable hooks. His work brilliantly combined technical mastery with strong compositional skills and unforgettable riffs that connected with audiences on a visceral level. His tone was absolutely massive, and his rhythm playing provided the driving force behind Van Halen's music, showing that innovation applied equally to rhythm work as to lead playing. Dimebag appreciated how Eddie conceptualized the guitar as both a rhythm and lead instrument simultaneously, refusing to separate these roles in artificial ways. Eddie's innovations in tapping techniques and harmonic manipulation influenced virtually every metal guitarist who emerged after him. What made Eddie absolutely essential was his unique combination of technical innovation with inherent musicality and excitement. He created entirely new techniques and approaches while maintaining the energy and visceral excitement that made rock music powerful. Dimebag learned from Eddie's example that innovation should serve to enhance songs rather than overwhelm them, and that new techniques were only valuable if they contributed to better music. The ranking demonstrated Dimebag's deep respect for Eddie's revolutionary contribution to expanding what was possible on the guitar. Van Halen showed that you could push boundaries and explore new territory while still creating music that connected emotionally with audiences. His influence extended beyond specific techniques to encompass a broader philosophy about creativity and innovation in service of musical expression. Tony Iommi, the godfather who created heavy metal. Tony Iommi occupied the 7th position, recognized as the creator of heavy metal guitar through his work with Black Sabbath in the late 1960s. His dark, monolithic riffs essentially defined what metal guitar would become for the decades that followed. Dimebag worshipped Iommi as the absolute godfather of heavy guitar playing, the original architect whose vision made everything else possible. Iommi showed the world that guitar could be monstrously heavy while simultaneously remaining melodic and memorable, establishing principles that would guide the genre's development. The riffs that Iommi created for songs like Iron Man and Paranoid rank among the most recognizable and influential in all of rock music. His pioneering use of downtuning and heavy distortion created the fundamental sonic foundation upon which all of metal was built. Dimebag particularly appreciated how Iommi constructed relatively simple riffs that were nevertheless devastatingly powerful, proving that complexity wasn't necessary for impact. The effectiveness of Iommi's approach lay in his understanding of weight, space, and the power of repetition in creating music that felt physically overwhelming. Iommi's influence on metal guitar simply cannot be overstated or adequately measured. What made him truly irreplaceable was that he essentially invented heavy metal guitar from nothing, creating the template that all subsequent metal guitarists would follow in some form. There was no blueprint for what Iommi created. He was working from pure instinct and vision, forging a new path that would influence generations of players. Dimebag built his entire approach on the foundation that Iommi established, those principles of heavy riffs and dark, ominous tones that defined metal's essential character. The ranking honored Iommi as the pioneer who made heavy metal guitar possible in the first place. Without Iommi's groundbreaking work, there would be no template for heavy metal playing, no established vocabulary of techniques and approaches. Every metal guitarist owes a debt to Iommi's vision and creativity, and Dimebag's placement of him on this list acknowledged that fundamental debt. Iommi wasn't just influential, he was foundational, the bedrock upon which an entire genre was constructed. The Angus Young, the master of powerful simplicity. Angus Young of AC/DC earned the 6th position, celebrated for creating some of rock's most iconic riffs and memorable solos. His energetic blues-based playing influenced multiple generations of guitarists through its combination of simplicity and power. Dimebag deeply admired Angus's dedication to crafting powerful riffs and his incredible stage energy that made every performance feel vital and exciting. Angus demonstrated that simple blues rock could be far more powerful than complex technical displays, that connection and groove mattered more than showing off abilities. His riffs that Angus created for songs like Back in Black and Highway to Hell serve as perfect examples of effective simplicity in action. These parts are built on pentatonic scales and blues traditions, yet they're absolutely memorable and powerful in ways that more complex playing often fails to achieve. His solos emphasized melody and memorability rather than technical flash, creating parts that audiences could remember and sing along with. Dimebag appreciated how Angus consistently served the song while maintaining incredibly high energy, never letting ego or the desire to impress overtake the music's needs. Angus proved beyond any doubt that passion and groove mattered far more than speed or technical complexity. What made him essential was his massive influence on groove-based rock guitar, showing that great riffs could drive songs more effectively than elaborate solos. He demonstrated that connection with audiences came from energy and memorable parts rather than impressive technique. Dimebag learned valuable lessons from Angus about creating music that moved people physically and emotionally, understanding that the best riffs were the ones that people remembered and returned to repeatedly. The ranking honored Angus's enormous influence on making riff-based rock both powerful and enduring. His approach showed that there was tremendous value in restraint and focus, and committing fully to what a song needed rather than what might be impressive. AC/DC's success demonstrated that audiences responded to authenticity and energy, to music that made them want to move and feel alive. This philosophy aligned perfectly with Dimebag's own approach to creating music that connected with listeners on a visceral level. Kirk Hammett, bringing melody to thrash metal. Kirk Hammett landed at number 5, recognized for bringing melodic guitar to the aggressive world of thrash metal through his work with Metallica. His solos added memorable melodic moments to Metallica's otherwise brutal and aggressive songs, creating contrast and emotional depth. Dimebag respected Hammett's remarkable ability to create solos that fans not only remembered but could sing along with, adding a human element to music that could sometimes feel overwhelming in its intensity. Hammett showed that metal guitar could be both crushingly heavy and melodically sophisticated simultaneously. Hammett's work on landmark albums like Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning showcased his melodic sensibility and compositional approach. His signature use of the wah pedal and harmonic minor scales became defining elements of his sound, immediately recognizable to metal fans worldwide. Dimebag appreciated how Hammett's solos enhanced songs rather than merely displaying technical ability, always serving the music's emotional needs first. Hammett proved that thrash metal, despite its aggressive nature, could feature memorable guitar melodies that elevated the music beyond pure aggression. What made Hammett important was his influence on making metal guitar more melodic and accessible without sacrificing heaviness. He brought blues feeling and melodic phrasing to aggressive thrash metal, showing that these elements weren't incompatible. Dimebag valued Hammett's dedication to creating memorable solos that served the songs, understanding that the best lead playing enhanced the overall composition rather than existing separately from it. Hammett's approach demonstrated that even in the most aggressive music, melody and memorability mattered. The ranking reflected Dimebag's respect for Hammett's contribution to melodic metal guitar playing. In a genre that could sometimes prioritize speed and aggression over all else, Hammett showed that melody remained essential to creating music with lasting impact. His solos became integral parts of Metallica's songs, as famous as the riffs themselves, proving that lead guitar could be both technically impressive and deeply musical. Alex Lifeson, bringing progressive complexity to hard rock. Alex Lifeson of Rush secured the 4th position, honored for bringing progressive complexity to hard rock guitar. His sophisticated chord voicings and atmospheric playing expanded rock guitar's vocabulary significantly, showing what was possible when combining technical skill with musical imagination. Dimebag admired Lifeson's ability to create both heavy, powerful riffs and beautiful melodic passages, sometimes within the same song. Lifeson demonstrated that rock guitar could be harmonically complex and emotionally powerful at the same time, that these qualities enhanced rather than contradicted each other. Lifeson's work combined traditional power chords with jazz-influenced voicings and arpeggios, creating a harmonic palette far richer than typical rock guitar. His creative use of effects and textures helped create sonic landscapes within Rush's music, adding depth and atmosphere. Dimebag appreciated how Lifeson served the song while still displaying impressive musicianship, never letting technical ability overshadow musical needs. Lifeson proved that progressive rock guitar could groove hard despite its complexity, that sophistication didn't require sacrificing physical impact. What made Lifeson special was his unique combination of technical skill and songwriting ability. He created memorable, powerful riffs while simultaneously exploring complex musical ideas and harmonic territories. Dimebag learned from Lifeson that guitar could be both heavy and sophisticated, that expanding one's musical vocabulary enhanced rather than diminished the ability to create powerful music. Lifeson's approach showed that study and exploration of complex musical concepts could make a player more effective rather than more self-indulgent. The ranking honored Lifeson's influence on expanding what was possible in hard rock guitar playing. He showed that progressive elements could coexist with heaviness and groove, that complexity could serve emotion and power. For Dimebag, Lifeson represented the possibility of continuous growth and exploration, of never settling for what you already knew how to do. Slash, keeping traditional rock guitar alive. Slash earned the third position, having become a guitar icon through his work with Guns N' Roses in the late 1980s. His bluesy, melodic style brought traditional rock guitar approaches back to the mainstream after years of more technical or experimental playing dominating the scene. Dimebag deeply respected Slash's dedication to blues-based rock and his gift for creating memorable, emotional solos. Slash showed that classic rock guitar approaches could still dominate in the modern era. The tradition and authenticity could compete with innovation and experimentation. The solos that Slash created for songs like Sweet Child of Mine and November Rain became instantly recognizable, as famous as the songs themselves. His Les Paul tone was massive and warm, and his phrasing was emotional and direct, communicating feeling without unnecessary complexity. Dimebag appreciated how Slash created solos that became as famous and beloved as the songs they appeared in, demonstrating the power of memorable melodic playing. Slash proved that blues rock guitar could still connect with massive audiences, that these traditional approaches remained powerful and relevant. Dimebag valued Slash's commitment to creating genuine musical moments rather than merely displaying technical ability, understanding that the best solos became inseparable from the songs they inhabited.
The ranking honored Slash's massive influence on 1990s rock guitar and his role in maintaining continuity with rock's blues-based traditions. In a time when extreme metal and alternative rock were pulling guitar in different directions, Slash showed that classic approaches still had enormous power and relevance. His success validated the importance of melody, emotion, and traditional craftsmanship in an era of rapid change.